Hey, this is DK. Welcome to second video of Gunpla 101. It will be much longer than usual because I try to put every big and small things into this one video. I will have a clear chapter markers in the description, so jump around and grab what you need. Let's get started. This is a Demi Trainer from previous build. Straight out of box, nothing done except the decals. The panel line is something we add between the pieces. For example, this SDX is fully panel lined, all that black. This yellow grill part, even between this red and yellow B-fin, I have black line going through it. If the part is sticking out, extruding, protruding, going up and down, I put a panel line there. If you look right there, this plastic and that plastic, they're same green, but in between the crease, it's darker because there's a shadow, of course. But if we put a little panel line, it gets exaggerated. So in order to panel line, we should take stuff apart so they're easy to hold, easy to work with. We have a few methods. First, we can use easiest one. We'll be using a Gundam marker. It's a thin permanent marker. This one is black. They come in different shades, but I also have gray. I also use just black liner. I use this when I used to draw on a sketchbook. 0.05, 0.1, 0.2, and 0.4. I usually use these two because these are almost like the Gundam marker thickness, but when I really have to like color the surface, I try to use a thicker one. Easiest way to do a panel line is to literally draw on top. We are basically drawing a line between the folds. Easy, just follow the contour. It gives a definition to the piece. And if you made a mistake, water might work, but 70% or any kind of alcohol, you just scrape it, it comes right off. I just erased it, but I'm gonna put it back again. So, marker is the easy way. Another method, this thing, panel line, accent color. I have black and I have a brown for yellow parts because Gundam has a lot of yellow parts, and I have a gray one. So I use this a lot because this one creates a nice sharp line, and I don't really have to like draw everything on it. This is an ink, comes in a bottle with a little brush. It just feels like a watery black ink. Tamiya, panel line accent color are enamel based paint, probably mixed with some alcohol or water solvent to make it deflow better. Since these are enamel, you should do this in a well ventilated area, like how I just did, open my window. Another problem is if you use too much on a weak Gunpla plastic, they will melt your plastic and it will crack your pieces, or it might even break at one point because enamel will eat your plastic. Enamel will have hard time penetrating the top coat, so if you want to do it right, you have a finished piece. If you did all the trimming, sanding all done, you should do a top coat using a glossy or semi-glossy, and then do this and get it over with it. Or you can do a top coat, this, and do another top coat to even protect the enamel from it. I'll show you where this works really nicely versus someplace that's not gonna really work nicely. This chest piece has like a built-in thin crease right there, and have a little dab right there. This is perfect for panel liner because if you have the pen, I'll use the pen on the right side. This actually has a problem between that part versus that part. I'll show you what's up. Because this part has a natural crease already. It's got the groove. But here, this doesn't have a crease. It's folded, but there's no area where this thing can sip in. You can apply accent color by just tapping on places. It's perfectly fine to overflow because we're gonna clean it later. And we're just going all over the folding lines to make panel line. It's not really going anywhere, so I'm going to do another dot here, another dot here, another dot here, since I wanted to go all the way. We're doing a comparison. I'll do a pen marker on this side too. I mean, Gundam marker is good. It's like nothing wrong with it. It just makes a little bit thicker lines. So after this, you see this little dabs where I touch the panel line accent brush. We need to clean that one. And it's really easy when you have the enamel thinner. Thinner from AK. It's an enamel product thinner. So with the thinner on, you just go against it. Just, you don't have to scrape it hard, just brush against it. You see like how, I'm only trying to erase the dab marks, but you see how it's actually deleting the whole thing except one part. So after the cleaning, the only thing I have left is this piece, but it came out really crisp. Nice thin black compared to this side. You see the difference? But problem we're having is we lost everything on the neckline and the front of the chest because they didn't have a built-in groove. So when I try to clean it, it just cleaned the whole thing. The enamel, the accent color had no space to hide from the cotton swab, so they just all came off. If I put Tamiya accent color to put a panel line between these two pieces, it will have the same problem. So even if you like do a dirty apply, this thing comes out really nicely with the enamel thinner. Look at that crisp black line, if it stays that way, right? I mean, it cleans it, but it cleans everything. No more panel line. Everything disappears. So we take out our scriber. I'm using the Tama Wangu's SAB chisel 0.125. On HG units, you usually use 0.125 and 0.15 for HG. When it goes MG, which is 100 scale, 1 to 100 scale, you can use the one I just showed and 0.2. I bought this Gunpla gun primers. It's actually called Kurida. You know, in Korean, Kurida means draw. They made this so it comes with a little needle instead of a lead. You stick this out about 1/4 of an inch and start scribing your plastic. I think this one equates to like 0.15, 0.2ish, but not super accurate. This is for basic scribing. So I'll use this on one side, SAB scriber on the other side. In order to make this part to receive this guy, make a little scratch. And when you do this, you almost put no pressure. You just follow the contour. When you scribe, you usually have to do it from both sides because they kind of have a different angle coming in. So I just put a little scribing line over there. You probably don't see it, but you will see a huge difference when we put the accent color on it. On the other side, I'll use the SAB panel liner 0.125. Same thing. I'm just gonna put it in that corner and just go through it. No real pressure, just I'm literally drawing on top of it. I'm just scratching a line on top of Gunpla. That's the Gundam marker. I'm gonna put it right there. And the piece we just scribed. Okay, see how this flows. Gonna put a touch. Look at that. You don't really see it, but there is a scribed line. As soon as I touch it, look how the ink flows. You know, I can almost tell this side was done with the gun primer because it's not a sharp as a SAB. That's why it wasn't flowing faster like the other side. But so after it drew itself, you just have to clean it with the enamel thinner, little dab marks. So I'm just gonna scrape it. It's funny that like I'm noticing this while I'm doing. I see a quality difference between left versus right. This side versus this side. They're similar, but in real life, this side came out much more clean, crisp, solid black than this side. This side has a little wonky straight line. I guess the blade and the grid out wasn't sharp enough. Or you can use a Gundam marker to make a good looking panel line, but thicker. Do you see the difference? I do. But they both look good. By the way, this guy, Freedom, everything on this Freedom was Gundam marker except the grill. Because marker didn't fit inside the group, so I just spilled this over and let it fill it by itself. So other than this part, everything else was Gundam marker because I like to exaggerate things anyway. So I didn't have an issue with using a thicker marker or having a thicker panel line. So for my personal taste, I try to use a panel line accent color more than the Gundam marker. I try to use Gundam marker only places where this doesn't work and I'm too lazy to scribe. It's all up to you. If you want to go, if you don't have much time or if you don't mind the thicker line, go with Gundam marker. This will do the trick, you know. This doesn't look bad at all, right? So if you're out of time, if you don't mind the thicker line, go with this. This will save you time, save you from toxic smell. You don't have to open your window. But this guy, the Demi Trainer, will be done mostly in this. Let me show how it's done. Okay, till now, we only made the existing panel lines deeper, so this panel line accent color can slide through. But now what we're gonna try to do is make some custom panel line. This is how they come. We add some extra lines, an extra decal. It makes the piece look very mechanical. But since we're doing the basic, I just wanted to show you how to use the scriber and how to start doing a custom scribing. I've done some sketching on my iPad using Procreate. I took a picture with iPad and just drew on top of it instead of sketching on actual piece. What you usually do is you bring out your pencil and you just start sketching on top of it. Some Gunplas have a weird surface finish which won't allow you to really draw. When that happens, sand a little bit. It gives you a better, rougher surface where you can start draw. This is 800 grit. We're not trying to sand the piece, we're just trying to make some rougher surface. So in order to make a pretty good looking panel lines, there are certain rules that you have to follow. Straight parallel to whatever surface you're coming from, and we make a little division like this, like that, any kind of angle, but we try to make this angle bigger than 90 degrees. So if you go like this is already short, like 70, right? It just looks off when you go like that. It just looks better when you go parallel to the surface you're going, and bigger than 90, and following the other. This line looks much more natural. than a sharper line. But you can just go left, you know, top, zigzag, zigzag. Just, I'm still practicing, so I don't know what line looks good. I still look at the Pinterest, I look at the Google image before I do the panel lines. But that's the basic rule that I follow. Okay, back to our skirt piece. So I'm gonna try to follow this side of the line. Go straight, see, now the pencil gets on easier than last time. Gonna make a cut right there. And from here you can just eyeball everything, or it's kind of hard to draw in the middle because part didn't get sand all the way, so I'm like having a hard time trying to draw on the middles. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. You know, this is those like press-on mail label thing, and these are at display here, 3mm and 6mm. I like these because they're segmented but transparent at the same time, so you get to see what you drew under it. And this one came with the gun primer, the Greta I talked about last time. This is all pre-cut to 20mm, so 2 cm. Another thing, when I started learning how to scribe, I bought these. These are scribing templates. They're metal. Basically, they're little pieces that you can stick it on to your plastic and draw on top of it using the masking tape on top of my shield. I'll just find the location there towards the middle. I'll tape it, and you can use it as literally a drawing template and draw on top of it, or you can just go straight with the scribing knife towards the hole and you can scribe that way. I only use this when I don't have time, or like when I run out of ideas how to draw my panel line and get some inspiration off of it. So when you use clear one, I can follow my drawings, put it on top. If I'm using this Greta, it's easier to work with. I wish this was clear. The right one with, I put the 3mm display on this thicker side so I can use it like this. If I'm trying to go away from the edge of the Gunpla 3mm, it's easy to do it because I can just literally line up this 3mm tape against it. And that means the scribing line I'm gonna make will be 3mm away from the Gundam wall. If you want it to be like 6mm away, use the 6mm. One convenient thing about having a different size tape. Now, the actual scribing. When you scribe, don't put any pressure, you know. You put pressure when you have some kind of groove to draw on. Before the groove, if you put any kind of pressure, it will go sideways, it will go downwards. So, at least until we have some kind of groove, some kind of depth on the plastic, don't use any force. Resting the tip on top of the tape, just letting it draw. It's kind of important to go to both ways. So yeah, practice. I'm still practicing, but trust your taping. And once you have some groove going on, you kind of know because it feels different. Making line becomes much easier when you have some kind of indent in the plastic, because until you have that groove, it kind of feels like you're doing nothing to it. So trust your taping and continue on. And you can usually reuse the tapes until they run out of their stickiness. Let's see how I did it. Yeah, that's working. You know, some people likes to prime their Gunplas first before they do a panel line because it shows better. I have a guideline already, so I can just follow the shape. I'm going per segment right now. Like I'm doing this, then I'm doing this. I'm doing everything separate. But as soon as I get some kind of line forming, I try to do the whole line with one swoop. And when you are turning corner, don't rotate your scriber. You should try to rotate the piece instead, but angle up while that's happening. I'm gonna turn the piece. While I'm turning, I'm gonna angle up my chisel, like I said, and turn the piece instead of the scriber. Again, try to put least amount of force against the plastic. Let the scriber do the work, not your muscle. For me, scribing is the hardest, also the part I enjoy the least in making Gunplas. But it does so much to the finished look, so I really can't skip it. Maybe if I become good at designing and scribing, then I might actually enjoy this part too. I do enjoy making my Gunpla look good, so I'll be practicing just like you. This one is one-sided template, meaning it almost works like a regular ruler. I think this one gives much more accurate lines than the one with the punched out holes. You don't have to use template, you could have just easily taped that too. But since I have it, I'm showing the different way. So when it comes to arm or legs or thruster, any kind of piece that has symmetry, we kind of have to worry about our drawing, our design placement, because we would like to have left versus right on the same place, right? So it starts out same. You design, bring the drawing in, draw it on your plastic. But when it comes to transferring that line, I use the compass with a toothpick. The extended toothpick side will be just lying against your baseline, and use either pencil side or needle side to mark the distance from your baseline. Again, I think I said this 10 times already, but please do not put pressure on your scriber. Since I'm still practicing, I always repeat that to myself when I scribe. I've been using 0.125 until this point, but I noticed that this plastic was so soft and the thin line were just eating the plastic gunks. So I tried 0.15, one step above, and it made it look better. It gave more clean finish. Making a good looking Gunpla takes decent amount of time. It all comes down to how much time you spend on honing your skill sets. So don't rush, take your time, and repeat the process until you're done with every pieces. To be honest, I really didn't like how this Gunpla's panel line were turning out while I was doing it. I made some good lines, sick lines, but I also made some mini mistakes and some dirty lines. But when I finished it and put them all together, they look better than I thought. Also, in the next video, I will be painting this. It will be a perfect opportunity to show how to fix the mistakes that I made in this video. Thank you for watching this whole thing. Hope it helped you or entertained you in some ways. See you in the next one.